Welcome please to the JVG podcast, where these G's are gonna spread their seeds of knowledge about the league. It's flourishing with these funny catchers seem to be well read, esteemed and honest. Like the man himself, Jeff Van Gundy, they are high IQ, so cerebral and funny. So if you're on the bus, just border on the dunny, listen to the
JVG NBA Tribute Show.
Welcome to the Jeff Van Gundy Tribute Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network. My name is Marco. I'm joined, as always, by Lucas. Lucas, how are you?
I'm well, Marco. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. Feeling pretty fine after the meal we just had, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I don't feel sluggish at all.
What meal did we just have?
It was from the other brother, let's call it. Jack himself, Hungry. First name Hungry.
Last name Jack. Yeah, pretty happy with the way I feel after recording. I ate mine about 15 minutes before you. We of course got a chicken royale, a cheeseburger, and a chips.
It was a really good combo.
I actually had two medium chips myself, because I was like, oh, what am I going to do on the drive over, and if I have to wait? I was like, I'll just have a chips.
Eat one of the chips.
Yeah, right. But then I ended up having the burgers. So I'm about 45 minutes after eating now, and I feel fine. I hate to bring up one fast food corporation without bringing another one down.
Yeah, exactly right.
But I couldn't imagine how bad I'd feel had this been McDonald's.
Yeah, it would be why would it be so much worse? But it would be. I don't understand why.
Well, you touched on the bread.
Yeah, it's real bread at Hungry Jack.
Which is a great point. Like, there's definitely, it's more suitable for a human body to eat than a McDonald's bread. And even the patties, I think, were better. Now, I'm not going to fucking stand here and say that the McChicken isn't, royalty.
Yeah.
But the chicken royale held up pretty well, especially at its small size.
It's a good size. It's a good size.
Yeah, and then the cheeseburger, just every ingredient was better than a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah, 100%. Pickles, tastier. Cheese, again, more similar to real cheese.
Burger?
When it was on McDonald's. Burger. Well, we already know the answer to that one. And what was the total price tag for, let's say what I had, were chicken royale, a cheeseburger, and a medium chips?
$10.30.
That's so much better than McDonald's would be able to offer me.
Insane.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that Hungry Jack's benefits from that, I don't know if KFC does this, I know McDonald's doesn't. They just have a cheap burger.
Yeah.
Like the chicken royale is just like, we'll just get a smaller everything, but we'll offer a budget option.
That's kind of what I want. I want to cram my
that's all I
face
want.
with 3 or 4 small burgers. I don't want I don't want a big deal. I don't want a big hoo-ha. And yeah, I want to be able to spend, $3 on it.
Yeah, and this inspired me to look to do my own research, look in a little further.
Jesus. We're doing a little bit too much of that lately.
So we've been proponents of the My Macca's app. We've spoken about that ad nauseum. The Nando's app. I opened it up the other day because someone said something about chicken, and I was like, how's the Nando's app going? I got rescinded 372 Nando's points on New Year's Eve 2023. We're talking 2.5 weeks ago now. An absolute punch to the gut. A lot of work went into that. Yeah. Exactly $372 worth of work went into that. To just have it all stripped away.
And what was the redeemable equivalent of it again?
$37.20.
Okay.
Which
That's
is
crazy.
Which is, I mean,
it's
what's like half a chips from Nando's these days. But it would be, I think a chicken's around 20. So it'd be nearly 2 chickens.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a chicken if I'm going to Nando's.
That's so heartbreaking. You've just found out the points have been rescinded because you went and they weren't there anymore? Or
I found out the points
were
were
rescinded.
rescinded.
We've rescinded your points.
I logged in because I was like, because Bo, one of our friends, was like, we should get some chicken sometime soon. And I was like, I wonder how the Nando's account's going. If I can get maybe 2 whole chickens, and we can just kill 2 birds with 1 order. And then there I saw it 0, and I was like, I must not be logged in. Yeah. And then I was like, no, this has been removed from your account. So now that's it, the Nando's app's gone, the My Macca's app is maybe on its way out. I just searched Hungry Jack's on the App Store, and they of course have Hungry Jack's deals and ordering.
Yeah.
And the prices, the deals on this are just out of this world. I can bore the listeners with details if you think that might be suitable. But also just move. Okay.
Bore them.
$6 cheeseburger, 6 nuggets and small chips.
Such a good deal.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Even in 30 days, 30 deals, nothing approached that. But my Jack's Apps deals as of right now: double cheeseburger value meal, $5.90.
12 nuggets and 2 medium chips, $10. A medium coffee, $2. 2 Whoppers, $12. Absolutely insane. And I get a feeling this is like maybe just like use it or lose it, and they cycle through them whenever. But they've also got Shake and Win, which you can shake your phone or device, and you have 30 minutes to redeem whatever offer you get.
Yeah.
And I had a barbecue cheeseburger and frappe for $5, and I can't have that for sure.
When did you have that? Oh no, that was the deal you got.
When we tested.
Oh my god, I was like, you can't have that.
yeah. And then I shook it again, and it was a double bacon deluxe burger, I think, for $5. So you're getting pretty insane deals with Hongle Jongle.
Yeah.
And I think I've been, flirting with the idea that they are the best fast food in Australia, even though I've put my dollars elsewhere. But I don't know. Maybe 2024 is the year that we solidify that.
I think we're using the Jax app and at least exploring the possibility that it's the superior franchise. Also, fucking you. So what, you would have picked up the meal at, I want to say 5 o'clock. 5 past 5. 5.
Let's say 5.
I got here at 5:30, and the chips were like, they weren't cold. They weren't warm, but they weren't cold. But they had so much structural integrity still. They still had crunch.
Yeah.
They still had all the things that make... Well, and again, I think the Hungry Jack's chip is the best fast food chip.
Oh, yeah.
I think without a doubt. But my McDonald's chips, they're done within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if you take them out of the bag, they like... They go like freezing cold. They go thin. It's terrible.
Look at what they're doing on Boys'
What
Voice.
they're doing to me.
And the burgers, what heat were they?
They were fine.
Completely a fine heat.
They were completely a fine heat.
Yeah. Also,
on a day like today, a 31-degree day, like, I don't mind eating a fast food burger that isn't piping hot as well.
Imagine they introduced like iced burgers.
Oh my god, that's $1 million idea.
$1 million idea, 10-cent
The ad campaign would be so easy in Australia. It'd be like, well, bloody tired of hot burgers. Like, have one of these on a bloody summer's day.
Yeah, 2 guys at the cricket. Oh, mate.
Yeah.
And then like, whatever happens after that.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I had a fast food experience I wanted to share.
Oh, you did. This is about KFC.
Yeah. So, on Sunday, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with some associates of the show, and basically, I think we were all quite hungover, like all 4 of us, and all a bit sleep deprived as well. Which was it was a fun combo. It made for an exciting game, but that's besides the point. Preston Sam Krampus, he rocked up and he'd already had KFC, and he'd been like talking in our little group chat, being like, "Oh yeah, let's get KFC for dinner." And then he's like, "Yeah, I had it on the way." And it's like, why would you do that? But then we just decided to get KFC again.
Did he have some?
Huh? Yes. Yeah. He had a zinger stacker. But I go to order it on KFC's website. I don't know why. I was hungover. And first of all, when you like create a KFC account on KFC's website, there's like one of those boxes that's like, send me offers via text message and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't let you complete the sign up unless you tick that box. So there's no option but to receive text messages from KFC for the rest of your life.
Jesus.
So we put our order in.
And you signed yourself away. 2
zinger boxes with hot and tasty, 1 zinger stacker burger. And then how much money comes out of my account. And then immediately the website's like, sorry, we had to cancel your order. Your money will be refunded within 7 business days.
Oh my goodness.
Which is like just so wrong for so many reasons. First of all, I'm on KFC. Second of all, 7 business days to get me my money back. So then...
It took you approximately 0 seconds to deny the order.
Yeah. So then I very, very quickly went to and I think this was what will be revealed later, was like my come up, is I went to the Uber Eats app, put in exactly the same order from the same KFC and processed it. About like 5-10 minutes later, I get like 1 notification from Uber Eats being like, oh, your driver's going to go pick up your order, and another notification from KFC being like, your DoorDasher has just picked up your order.
Oh my
So I thought I'd doubled ordered. And both of the money had come out of my account, so that seems like a completely likely circumstance, right?
Goodness.
And then we were discussing like, well, how are we going to eat 4 zinger boxes and 2 zinger stackers between the 3 of us?
You invite the driver in.
What was? Oh yeah, we invite the driver in for a zinger box. And so then the first order rocks up, and as it's rocking up, I get a call from the Uber driver, the Uber Eats delivery person, being like, "Oh, hey, like, did you cancel your order?" I'm like, "No," but like, yes. I didn't know how to explain to him what had happened.
Yeah.
And like, we had some like back and forth, and then eventually I was just like, "Well, is there an order like to pick up for me or not?" And he was like, "Okay, thank you," and he hung up.
Oh.
And then maybe 5 minutes later, Uber called me and were like, "Oh, we're so sorry, you had to cancel your order. Like, it'll be refunded immediately, and then you can just go and reorder, you know, through the Uber Eats app, the exact same thing." So what I'm thinking happened is that they actually started making my first order, and then like another one immediately came through for it, and they were like, "Ah, this is some sort of a mistake," and so they didn't start making the second one. And even though my order had apparently been cancelled by KFC, it was actually there when the DoorDash driver got there.
Okay.
I don't know, which is an interesting proposition.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. And so, but then the best part of this is, I then got a refund from KFC this morning. Not 7 business days later.
Within.
It was within 7 business days. So I didn't pay for the food at all.
Oh, that's tremendous.
Yeah.
And by your, rationale, reasoning, whatever you want to call it, which I agree with, there are now 2 of those orders circulating in Melbourne within 15 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
And presumably that Uber Eats driver got a free dinner.
Well, but I just don't think they made the second one.
But they had to make one of them.
Yeah, the one that we got.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, we got one order. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well.
Oh, I thought you said... I thought what you said was both the first 2 drivers for the first 2 orders. The initial DoorDash order pre-call, the initial Uber order pre-call. They both rocked up.
No.
Then...
So the DoorDasher, I think the DoorDasher got there before the Uber Eats driver and got the Uber Eats driver's order.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And the Uber Eats driver rocked up and they're like, "Sorry, there's no order."
So you're at net zero within 7 business days.
Exactly. Well, no, and the money came into my account this morning.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah.
How much was it all?
Like $50.
Whoa, that's such a good win.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. It's the most intricate Uber cheats.
Yeah, it was so accidental, completely resulted in me being hungover. Should have just used the Uber Eats app from the get-go because the interface is much easier and the price is the same as if you use the KFC app.
How many people got fed?
Just 3 of us, yeah.
Three people, $50.
Yeah, bro, delivery fast food, like, it's not a good deal.
50 divided by 3 is 17, what is it exactly? 1667.
Mm.
Oh, wow. See, you wouldn't get this with Hungry Jacks.
No.
Hungry Jacks.
No. And the only way it could have been better is if both had rocked up and I didn't pay for either one.
You reckon you could have finished 2? How hungover were you?
Like, really?
Yeah, you could have finished 2.
It was, but like when I finished the first one, I was like, I don't feel sick, but I could eat more.
Yeah,
but then I think if I'd had more, I would have felt sick.
I want to eat more.
And also, it would have been, how would we have... Oh no, we would have just had to eat 2 zinger boxes each.
You could just keep it in the fridge. Genuinely, next day oven it. It's an option.
You reckon hot and tasty keeps well in the fridge?
A burger?
Yeah, a burger or a piece of chicken.
A piece of chicken.
Piece of chicken, yeah.
Class. The chips would be the only thing to worry
The
about.
chips were bad by the time they got there.
Yeah.
Which I guess is where I was kind of coming from with how good the Hungry Jack's chips were. That, like, the KFC chips were there in 10 minutes and they were bad.
I think if you deconstructed the burger, or at least got most of the wet parts out of the burger, put the bun, chicken situation back into the fridge, wrapped up.
Is that how you do it? You get the lettuce and the mayo off.
Well, if I'm trying to reheat it the next night,
I
probably.
understand.
But most of it,
there's
going to be some.
Yeah.
I'm also reheating a KFC burger the night after. It's not going to be the best meal I've ever had in my life.
You probably don't need to worry about like warm lettuce or whatever you're going to be experiencing there.
But I would detach all those parts the night before and then reconstruct it after ovening it the next night.
Okay.
So if you're ever in this situation again and you get both orders, that's what I think you should do with all the leftovers. Was it here as well?
Nah, it was at Joel's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, that changes things. Because then I don't think you could have both meals.
Why? Oh yeah, because I was...
If you're at home, it's fine.
Yeah. But like we were discussing it, we're like, what if there are 2 KFC meals coming? What do we do? We have to eat them both.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And how long did that conversation take?
Like 30 seconds.
Oh, they just said yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I wasn't the one going, we have to eat them both. I think it was Creston actually.
Yeah.
That man, he's kind of a pig. Like, in the best way.
That's funny. Well, okay. Well, I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was gonna. We knocked it out in 5. But I'm sure you guys didn't go to the depth that we.
No, we didn't. We didn't analyze it like this.
Yeah.
We were really hungover as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so a lot of fast food wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over
100%.
in the new year.
2024. It's been great for fast food so far.
Yeah.
So far.
24 ins. Fast food wins.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
my
good,
first
Lucas.
ins. Hey, is it too late in the year to keep saying ins? Is it too late?
Is anyone else still writing 23 when they're writing the date down?
Is it too late in the year to start wishing people a happy wins? Happy 2024 ins. Fuck wins.
Actually, I did a funny transition today. I went from going like Happy New Year, or like hope you had a nice New Year, and emails to being like hope you're having a nice summer.
Nice.
I think that's a kind of nice. What do you call it?
Transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of 2024 ins
And nice transitions.
And don't overdo it. Me and Lucas have actually come prepared with our own ins for a couple of teams in the National Basketball Association.
Yeah.
For 2024. We're calling them New Year's resolutions. They can be, a trade, a player addition, a vibe shift, like just kind of like a hope for what's going to happen to them for the rest of the season. Lucas, do you wanna kick us off with something? You got any other preamble that you want to add in there?
I got no preamble. I have 5 because you said we should prepare.
I have 5
each.
as well. Yeah.
And you said these are resolutions for teams.
Yeah, you can do ones for players.
I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit. I'm actually not. It's not exactly players. This is more viewing product.
Oh yeah, that's it. Well, that's a good one.
LaMelo to play with a really good player. Now, that is either he leaves or someone comes. And I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But resolutions are... not all of them get followed. I feel like my other 4 have a chance. But I just want to see LaMelo with a really good player. I would love to see him paired with, like, anyone that's capable of doing their own thing on a basketball court. And, like, well.
Yeah.
Not good for an 8-minute stretch. Or, like, not, like, good at getting 14 points. Like a 25-point per game scorer. He'd be a fun Wemby, like...
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Pairing. That there's absolutely no possible trade that the Spurs could put together to get a guy like LaMelo on their team. But actually, I was looking at the Spurs on TradeNBA.com. They have so many picks. I did not realize that they've been doing this quiet, like, stockpiling
not
of assets.
Sam Presti level,
Yeah.
but like a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if they got the first overall pick in this next draft and they packaged it with some other ones, they could get LaMelo? Probably not.
Oh, the first overall pick though, and like, say LaMelo is open to the idea of being traded. I'm sure that the Hornets would do right by him. Because who's the guy right now is Alexander Sarr, the number one, the projected number 1 pick, who plays at Perth.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool for the Aussie, like the prospect of Australian basketball and a potential product we could be watching in person. But I think if you have the first overall pick and a couple of role players or movable contracts and then 5 picks on top of that, I think you could get LaMelo for that price. But LaMelo to play with a really good player.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if talking about this complete hypothetical, I think if you're the Hornets, you've put so much investment into LaMelo already. I mean, but you also haven't. But what I mean is they've put as much investment into LaMelo as like the Charlotte Hornets are capable of putting into any player. Like they're just not capable of getting good players to that franchise. I mean, a sort of broader look is like what's the play there? Like they're not even close to being a playoff team, and they've got like all of their core players available this year. Like they even have Miles Bridges on their roster. And they're just absolute dog shit. Would it have to be a big? Would you like him? Let's say the Warriors go completely south, and Steph's like, I want to go spend a few seasons in my father's hometown, the Charlotte Hornets.
It absolutely doesn't have to be a big. It can be a Steph Curry. Also, imagine the prospect of like potentially using LaMelo as a playmaker in the post. I think that'd be really cool.
Him and Steph is the
I hate to imagine him like how Draymond is in a low post split because I feel like LaMelo is just so much more dynamic, and I feel fucking dumb even explaining it. But But yeah, it doesn't have to be a big at all. It can be a wing. It can
Yeah.
be someone. It can be a point guard. It can be a
Yeah.
great shooting point guard. I actually didn't even have like a big in mind,
Yeah.
like a traditional like lob finisher.
No.
Or inside presence. I had like more of a shifty mid-range, someone with a bit of a mid-range. Like imagine if Brandon Miller was like.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. It's like I think the Hornets were hoping to draft their good player in Brandon Miller.
Which kind of they have.
Yeah.
Like he is. There's a rawness to him still.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, he hasn't. Like, there are rookies who are 40, 50 games into their. There are rookies who have been 40, 50 games into their career and have been much better than him. Like, miles better than him. I mean, Victor Wembanyama, for example, Chet Holmgren, just to name a few from this season. So like he hasn't been this like breakout on a bad team where he's getting a lot of touches. He hasn't been like a breakout, 20-point a game scorer.
Yeah, he had one last game.
Yeah, he had 1 point.
Yeah. 9 MP though, so that could be an injury.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Unfortunately.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, and then do you think LaMelo's value might be a bit, not what it once was at the moment on account of his constant injuries and?
It's possible. It's also it might work in favor of the team teams targeting him because it's also so hard to tell like how a lot of it, him winning. And him being a part of a winning team, a lot of that would have to be extrapolation.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he'd be good on a good team.
Yeah.
But you are still like there is still a bit of ambiguity around it.
Yeah. Well, I think the obvious thing is like if he was on the Warriors, like maybe we, if they had drafted him, maybe we would be like more acutely aware of. Like what he's not good at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like he'd be so much better than like Jordan Poole,
Yeah.
Jordan Poole was really good on the Warriors for a season. Like he would have so much more impact for them.
Yeah.
Than someone of that level. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we move on to your first?
Yeah. Well, I think
top of your list.
This is a nice related one, I guess, and I think everyone probably has this on their list. But the San Antonio Spurs, I think they should get a really good point guard. Like a LaMelo Ball type.
Okay, well that's one of mine.
Yeah.
Spurs get a guy who can pass.
Yeah. So like they have been starting Trey Jones lately, and he has been, serviceable. I ran the numbers on this before today's game. He'd assisted Victor Wembanyama, the really big guy they got, 30 times this season, which is the same amount of times that Duncan Robinson has assisted Bam Adebayo.
Yeah.
So, known
playmaker Duncan Robinson. Known dynamic duo Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo.
They're really the LeBron and Wade of
You know what? Duncan Robinson might have less assists to Bam Adebayo than Bam Adebayo has.
Yeah. I'm sure if I looked at the full list, Bam would be above Duncan in that department. And then against the Hawks today, it was funny. Trey Jones had 12 assists and Wemby had 12 made baskets. It was nice to imagine that every single one of them was from Jones, but 7 of them were. So he did a quarter of his assists to Wemby today.
Yeah.
Against the Hawks. So like obviously, it sounds stupid to be like, oh yeah, like Pop's figuring it out, but like he is. Like he's actually finally figuring out like what this guy needs to develop. Not for this team to be good. But yeah, just like someone who is a lot more capable than Trey Jones at passing the ball. And can play 30 minutes alongside Wemby.
Yeah, I like the idea of Trey and Tyus Jones.
Yeah.
I don't really know who. I don't care who the Wizards get in that. Picks, just picks. Any sort of a fucking top 56 protected second round pick. But no, I have to agree. Also, great pivot before when you said he got a quarter of his assists in this game because 7 does not divide into 30 very well.
Yeah.
30 divided by 7 in that situation, I would have fucked up.
Yeah.
So great work there.
Thank you.
Trey Young after the Hawks Spurs game today was like, man, it's so frustrating. Like, give him the ball. Not in as many words, but someone I saw, and I'm sure everyone saw someone say this, but was like maybe the Spurs. Maybe Trey Young hears the noise about the Spurs and the Hawks in trade talk, and maybe he's the one that should be traded to the Spurs instead of DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
And actually, what would that look like? Because what are the prospects with Trey as a competitive team in Atlanta? I mean, obviously, don't fucking get rid of him because you're not going to get another player that good or better.
Yeah.
Like, that is just not guaranteed at all. But purely from like a Spurs Trey Young point of view, I feel like you could probably be part of like actually building something at San Antonio with like more manageable assets, because like the thing about the Hawks is how immovable they are.
Yeah.
And where are they going and how much better can they realistically get? So yeah, maybe that playmaker can be Trey Young.
Yeah, I like that.
A Trey Young, Victor Wembanyama dynamic duo.
Yeah, like the Hawks. The Hawks they've got full of bad players and like have nothing to like get better players with.
Yeah.
Is like the long and the short of it for me. And then I think there's a bit of that like kind of Luka light about it, where it's like Trey's probably lifting a lot of these guys' output on offense as well. Like imagine putting him imagine not having him next to Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu, and instead having him next to 7'4" Victor Wembanyama, who he is just gonna like throw the ball up to every time he's remotely open. Like we know he's that sort of player already with like much less capable offensive bigs. So like, yeah, God, it would be really scary. And then you're right. Like there's enough contracts, there's enough like young players, there's enough picks for like the Spurs to kind of pivot from there to whoever they need to fill in the rest of the court. Like,
Yeah. You can imagine how many times and in how many scenarios Trey Young has thrown a lob, and to like however many different teammates, and you can imagine how many times Victor Wembanyama has caught a lob, and Victor in his 30 or so games has yet to play with someone that likes throwing lobs.
Yeah.
And Trey has in his career not played with someone that can finish a lob.
Yeah.
So those highlights would only boost like fucking exponentially.
Yeah. In the lob department, would you get Chris Paul in for just like half a season of mentorship? You know, like
I like shaking up the Warriors as well. Yeah. There's like that's the fun thing about the Spurs. They can just bring in anyone really.
Yeah.
Like I feel like no one's really going to have a profound effect on wins.
Unless you make a Trey Young level trade.
Yeah. And even then, like how many wins is he going to add? And then like. Unless it's like Giannis, but that's completely out of the realm of possibility. So I feel like there's not really a trade you can say about pairing someone with Victor Wembanyama that's like, no, don't do that. Because like, and also you don't really need to wait and stay bad for a while. You have the guy.
Yeah. Like
how many more guys are you gonna get?
Yeah, but I think that does seem to be the attitude. Is like this roster isn't the roster that like Wemby competes with. Like that probably. So like a Chris Paul trade would be like, okay, we're not getting him because we're going to go to the to the playoffs with Chris Paul. We're getting him so he can play with one of the smartest probably the smartest point guard in the league. Yeah, it's just for however long he will be there, however long he'll be physically able to throw the ball to him. And that's the thing is like the problem that the Warriors have with Chris Paul is like he can't shoot and he hates shooting.
And he hasn't played forever.
Yeah, and he's been injured. But like, I mean, the injury thing's a problem. But like the not being able to score thing isn't for the Spurs because you don't need him to. Like, you just need him to pass the ball.
Yeah. I feel like the only drawback about CP3 is he's nearly 39.
Yeah.
So, is this the point guard you want? Victor Wembanyama building chemistry.
Yeah, right. That's also good.
Yeah. It's all funny. Like I guess like it accelerates his development and it gets him the ball in more situations and stuff like that. So it improves his development on an individual level, but in terms of like the team wide level, and it doesn't seem to. Wembanyama doesn't seem to be the type of player that like is like wanting more touches. I think he's wanting to like. Build like a team.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is cool. Which is like I feel like not common.
Yeah, he hasn't been taking 5 step back 1-legged threes a game.
Yeah.
Like people were worried he would.
Yeah.
All right, who else you got on this list?
Knicks trade Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Yeah, I really want to see it happen. I feel like I don't know if I've said this on a podcast, but the OG Anunoby trade in which Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett were also a part of. I feel like trading away Barrett undid the knot that he caused, and then bringing in OG kind of mitigates the knot that RJ Barrett would have caused. But he's gone now, so like there's even more space. Like there's not only the space that OG brings, there's the space that opens up with RJ Barrett leaving. And it is, a trade both sides won. I'm sure you've heard that before. But, I feel like that trade was a very, massive step. And although it was, one step in terms of roster construction, I feel like it was a couple in roster deconstruction as well. But Randall is still kind of in the way. And I feel like every time you turn on a game, he finishes with 26 points, but you never see any of them. And he still takes a really bad shot as soon as you've turned the game on.
Even though he apparently spent the whole off season learning how to take better shots.
Yeah.
He's just doing exactly the same.
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, he learned how to take them, he just doesn't implement it.
Yeah. You should see him in the gym though.
Today he went for a game tying shot. I think they were down 5 or something with 14 seconds to go against the Magic. And although it was semi-open and you kind of needed to just get a shot up, it was still just that's a bad looking shot. And it ended up going long and airballing and smacking off the backboard. And it was, he's not helping himself. But Jalen Brunson, did he have a 50 burger post trade as well? Or was it just pre-trade?
I think it was pre-trade. It was post Becky Hammond slandering him.
What'd she say?
Nah, she didn't really. It was one of those poor context things. I think she just said he would never be a superstar like LeBron or something like that.
Oh yeah,
but not as clearly as that.
Yeah,
it's not a controversial opinion.
Yeah.
You had to let him know.
Took it to heart.
Yeah.
I don't really know exactly what the Julius Randle trade would be, but yeah, I think bringing in a wing. I don't like the idea of bringing in Donovan Mitchell, who seems to be out there, kinda. And then I think the idea of bringing in DeJounte Murray is really, really bad. Really, really bad. Especially, that doesn't really fix any problems. It just kind of brings in a shorter Julius Randle, who's a good defender. So I don't know exactly who it is yet. I feel like you can always float out the idea of Paul George, because it's he's detained. You can get him. There's a feeling that he's not completely untouchable. And although I don't think they could get someone as good as him, even someone a touch worse, that just doesn't bring the same problems that Julius Randle brings, I think it'd be... I feel like it's really fun to watch the Knicks, and there is so much... You still go into a Knicks game wanting to hate them, but there are so many draws from just the basketball side of things, and even the roster makeup, that I feel like they're primed for bringing in another piece.
Yeah. I think it's just the problem of who wants Julius Randle, which is pretty much no one. Because I think that, as much as when you watch the Knicks, it is he's getting it away. So much of this team has, unfortunately, been built around him as well. Kind of to paper over his, detriments, but also to elevate his skills.
Yeah.
Which is silly, because just Julius Randle shouldn't be the center of any NBA team. But I think for that reason, it's there's no perfect fit for him. There's not a team that's we need a power forward exactly like Julius Randle to complete what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
So you're basically dumping a guy on a huge contract. I don't know. And God, he's just still so overrated as well. He's been 2 All NBA teams in his career. That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't tell me there are not 6 forwards better than Julius Randle at any given moment in time.
Yeah. I pulled up Jeremy Grant because I fully just forgot about him.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, and they work straight up.
Yeah.
And
Portland is so bad, it wouldn't even matter.
I don't know why Portland have him inked down for 5 years. 5 years. What is he's not going to be in Portland for 5 years, but I'm sure they could swindle a pick out of that. The trade machine says that the Knicks get 2 games worse and the Blazers get 2 games better. I'm not too sure.
Addition by subtraction, let's call it.
Must be. It must be. They're basing it off the LeBron stat potentially. But there's an option. I was thinking Kuzma for Randle, but I feel like Kuzma's not better than Julius Randle, and I don't really know what business we would have taking on Randle, but then not taking on picks. I feel like every I mean, here's another one of mine, but we can get into it later. I want the Wizards to be attached to every single trade that happens for the rest of the season, and we just get like a pick and a contract, a salary dump. But we can get to that later. Yeah, I don't really know who the players coming in are, but there's a couple. You know, Jeremy Grant.
The Jeremy Grant is the first one you said that sounds realistic. Like, you know, the Clippers are on like a, you know, fucking incredible win speed at the moment. They're not going to trade Paul George for Julius.
Yeah. Oh, no, completely no. Absolutely, by no means should they.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I just picked that. I just put them into the trade.
Go back to the hey. I know we're having a disagreement in the courts, but another trade. Oh my god! And then it would just be the Toronto Knicks.
Yeah, which is what they've always wanted to be known as. Yeah, that could work.
No, that would. Yeah. But again, like, there's absolutely no way Toronto says yes to that. Yeah. Well, speaking of Pascal Siakam, my next one, which we discussed in the group chat a bit today, is I think the Golden State Warriors should not trade for Pascal Siakam.
Okay.
And I think what I'm trying to say more is I think they should really, I think they should give up this season.
The Warriors?
Yeah. You don't have a good team. You don't have like a deep roster. There's still such like a stink every time they play. Even when they win, even when they're good, like something doesn't feel right. Like the chemistry is just, for a team that's like just famously had such good chemistry for so long, there's just no chemistry all of a sudden. Yeah. You have two like, you know, club champions, let's call them, life members who like probably won't or shouldn't be on the roster next season. Like Klay Thompson is bad. He's got to go. He's fully bad and he's out of contract at the end of this year. So like it feels like a really good opportunity to be like, Klay, for 6 or 7 years, you were like the second best 3-point shooter in the world. Like now it's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, and then Draymond, who, you know, I think is still a good basketball player, but like I feel like it just feels so hard for him to go back into his position on the team after everything that's happened this season. Like, you know, and he said it. It's like it's so hard to be a leader when you've punched your teammate in the head.
Yeah, I wonder why.
been suspended at multiple points throughout the season, and I think Steve Kerr said in a presser after. No, sorry, Klay said in a presser after a game that like Kerr came to him and just been like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, you're playing with all this anger. You should just be enjoying yourself while you're in the twilight of your career. Yeah. But like this team is just not acting like that's where they are. They're acting like they're still gonna try to make the playoffs and make some noise in the playoffs. And like if they trade for Siakam, it's like you're just heading in the wrong direction by doing that, I think.
Yeah. I've pulled up their next year's cap table, and it doesn't really show you how much they have to spend.
Well, I think because they're so deep into.
But next year under contract they have, Chris Paul's $30 million is non-guaranteed.
Yeah.
But Steph's on 55. Jesus. Wiggins is on 26. Draymond's on 24. Then it drops off. Gary Payton's on 9. Yeah. Player option. So I feel like you could fit another $20 million contract in there or something.
Yeah.
That feels like it'd fit, and that money can get you like a pretty good player.
But you probably want to get rid of Wiggins as well, like in the off season if you can.
Yeah. You never. I just think it's too hard to tell when the team is this shit.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing with LaMelo. It probably goes the other way around, but like I feel like Draymond can recoup like his defensive value.
Yeah.
And I feel like Wiggins can still be a really a really useful player on like a good team because he's shown it with these Warriors. And you know, there's no questions about Steph, and there never should be really.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about Draymond. You'd never guess it. He was mentioned on the Deep 2 NBA podcast. The Warriors actually came up, and Draymond I think has been the best defender in the league since I don't know 2010, since I can remember. Like in the last 15-year window, there hasn't been a better defender for as good a stretch of time. Kawhi had probably a higher peak, and but for sure shorter. But Draymond has never once been thought of as an athletic player, like a relatively athletic player in the NBA, and he's still been the best defender.
Yeah.
And he's been a 6'7" center coming up against 7-footers, and his defensive ability has never been in question. And he can't jump or like higher than anyone, run faster than anyone, and he's still found a way to anchor a D. And a team that always had questions about can they play small, do they need another big guy? He's won 4 rings, effectively playing center and doing so much for them defensively. So I think that so there's all the good things. Draymond saying he wanted to retire is fucking cringe as fuck. Obviously you weren't going to ever retire. But rescind that.
I didn't even believe that Adam Silver said that to me.
No one said anything.
Fully made up.
Yeah, it probably is, man. That's the lamest shit I've ever heard in my life. Draymond wanted to retire. No, he didn't. But I think that there's still a good mold here. I think that it gets kind of empty when it's like fucking Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
And I think Brandon Pajemski is like kind of useful, but like Moses Moody has been, dare I say, moody lately. Gary Payton II, is he playing or is he injured?
I think he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevon Looney, is he injured?
He's playing. But he's having his first like not Kevon Looney level season. He's usually a 7-8 out of 10 every night, and he's been less than that.
Yeah, and but his contract I feel like doesn't, he's on $8 million. He's not like, you're not expecting him to be one of the best centers in the league. He's played his role really well, and even he's non-guaranteed next year. So I think I'm fully on your side. Don't make a move for Siakam, unless you can do Clay for Siakam or something. But I think wait it out. I feel like I don't feel like you shouldn't really be worried about the team getting a year older. Yeah. Like I feel like they're going to be just this good next year as well, the older players, and reassess like what the free agent market's looking like.
Well, that's it. I think it is just like wait until the off season. But and then I think it'll just take this like bad vibe off the team a bit as well if they're not sort of having these expectations, not just on results but how they should be playing. Like if Clay's not spending every game getting frustrated because he can't hit threes anymore, and he's just taking them and missing them and going like, oh well I had a good career, like there's just going to be a better energy on the court, and then because this off season, this draft, they owe their pick to the Portland Trailblazers. I think it's 1 through 4 protected. I think Sean said just top 1, but I think it's 1 through 4.
Right.
So you're gonna lose that pick. You're not gonna be one of the 4 worst teams in the league. So just have fun, and then you can reassess what you want to do next year. If people want to leave and it is actually a bit of a gutting, of every kind of vet except Steph, then fine. Then you're the Golden State Warriors. You'll figure out how to retool. You'll have your pick for next year. You maybe won't be good again next year, but if you actually want to have one last run with Steph Curry, it's not happening this season.
Yeah, and it's something that you can make happen if you want.
Exactly.
So I've just crunched the numbers on my end, and the salary cap for next season will be $142 million, a tax line of $172.5 million. Don't exactly know what that means, but that's a lot. There's a table for it.
Yeah.
I did my own research.
Hell yeah.
But the Warriors, from what? But this doesn't account. This is what I've done is better. Fully guaranteed money for next year is $135 mil out of the $145 mil. Now there is $142 mil, which gives them $7 million of wiggle room. There are a lot of people they can shed the money of, though.
Yeah.
They could easily clear up $20 million worth of cap space, and then Wiggins and Draymond are 24 and 26. If we use them as the scale, a $20 million player per year, I feel like you could get a really good and serviceable player. Maybe someone that's more scoring focused.
But salaries are going to go up in this agency as well.
That's true. Yeah.
These guys are on pre-CBA, pre 3-point line salaries.
Yeah.
So they're not earning as much. But no, I take your point. Wiggins Wiggins signed this. Yeah, they signed him to this contract, didn't they? They signed him to this contract because they were like, "Oh, you were really good and you won us a championship." Fundamentally,
Yeah.
And Draymond's was like, okay, you've been really, really good for a long time. So I mean, they're definitely overvalued as well in those contracts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like they didn't take pay cuts.
Yeah. So let's say they bring in $20 million of like a more offensive oriented like bucket getting player. I think that would go a long way. Like imagine if Clay was just like good.
That's the thing.
But that's what you'd be bringing in.
Yeah.
You'd be bringing in a good Clay.
Yeah. And they had so much success with that.
They had so much success with that, and like, I feel like, so long as they keep themselves in games and they can know where points are coming from, I feel like that'll help the overall product, because there are so many games where it's like you can just see them like, what's the fucking point?
They have no idea where like how anyone is going to get into the double digits, like step, like it's all just like there's no certainty that someone's going to get 10 points.
All right, what's next on your list?
Should we take a quick break so I can refill my better?
Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
The NBA moves so quickly these days, it's hard to keep up. Shams and Woj are breaking stories left and right, but the Quick Time Out is right there with them to keep you informed on the latest NBA news. Stop in and let us break it down as it happens. Find the Quick Time Out on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
You want to talk WNBA? Maybe some WNBL? Australian Opals chat? Heck, even dabble in some EuroLeague? Find the W Basketball Show on the Deep 2 Podcast Network.
Oh, at the Nightcap.
At the Nightcap.
Is it the Nightcap?
Yeah.
Are you guys driving?
Well, I don't know where Ned is.
When are you guys supposed to be there?
The thing says 7:30, but I assume that's doors.
Yeah. True, where is Ned?
I assume he's still in work or like hanging around Collingwood or something.
Right.
Which is fine because that's sort of like near where the gig is.
Oh, true. Oh, is he going home or not?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, is it Renee's? God damn, it's as predictable as daylight.
Oh, he said he'd be here.
Yeah, he said that, but he said he'd come straight here from work. Oh, and you all didn't need to hear that, but you did.
You were
I really needed to get the beer crack in.
Jesus.
Am I going again?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Whichever. I think I'm out.
You're out?
I think I've sprinkled all mine in.
Oh my god.
Also, maybe something we should address on air.
Yeah.
Which we haven't addressed on air yet. If you guys have been noticing the second half of the episodes, I've been sniffling. I think we've learned I am allergic to cat hair.
Yeah.
Or at least...
I feel like we discussed this a long time ago.
At least I get the sniffles. I don't know if I'm allergic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allergic.
It's probably one of those things, if you were here every day, you wouldn't get them anymore.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Like, I don't get, like, itchy anything. Doesn't really impact my day. Maybe I get tired. I can't really tell. But I get the sniffles. So if you've been like, oh man, Lukas is sick on the second half of every episode. No, I just have cat sniffles. But yeah, let's keep on your.
All right.
Yours.
I've got one. This is for the Utah Jazz. I think it applies for a few other teams in the league as well. But I think they should start selling. They're just in this really funny position where they're like a pretty serviceable basketball team. Weirdly, I think they're on a 6-game winning streak at the moment.
Well, it's like 17-3 in their last.
Yeah. Like they've been good, but like, and they have a lot of good players, and they have like good young up and coming players. But like, they're still the 11th best team in the West for sure. Like, I don't think they're gonna leapfrog like Phoenix or Dallas or the Kings or New Orleans, into like the top 9 or 8.
Yeah,
they could probably leapfrog the Warriors or the Rockets or the Lakers, but they may have done so already actually.
12-3 in their last 15.
That's
so
crazy.
I was a bit off.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
But yeah, and they're also, I think they're like one of the worst. They're one of the hardest teams to play, in that they should be bad and they'll just win games against really good teams constantly. And like, give you quite a drubbing sometimes as well. But like, I don't know how this roster turns into like an actual playoff roster, like without kind of, without going lower first without like selling Jordan Clarkson for 1.5 first rounders or moving on from Lowry or whatever. Like I don't know how you can just add a few little bits to make this a playoff team.
Yeah, well, it was actually 13-3 in their last 16 because they beat the Therese-less Pacers.
Oh yeah, they were bad today.
The Pacers?
Yeah.
He's just holding everything together.
Yeah.
So let's say on the Jazz, but this also leads into the one, which is Nets fire sale.
Yeah.
And I feel like same things I can say to the Nets apply to the Jazz, but in a season that's so tightly contested, and yes, what you're saying about like where is this team going? How much better can this team get, or this frame of a team get? Yeah, in a season that's so tightly contested, there are so many middling teams that are going to want one of those players.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's even kind of go through it kind of half-assedly, because there are going to be teams that want bigs, teams that want wings, etc., etc. The Pelicans will take anyone, and they're not like really one of the middling ones.
No,
but like you'd always take another piece.
Exactly, and like Jordan Clarkson could go to any team in like the top 16 right now.
Yeah,
like he would be wanted by and improve any team. Like I don't think any team has a microwave scorer like him.
Yeah.
I think he's almost the best in the league at the moment.
Yeah.
At that. And yet he's stayed on this Jazz roster for so much longer than almost 12 months longer than I expected.
Yeah. He's really been there forever. Like in the West, Mini and OKC and Denver top 3. I would say not to make any moves. The Clippers not to make any moves, but Pelicans, Kings, Mavericks, Suns are the 4 teams in front of the Jazz, and all 4 of them probably looking to make moves. I would say the Suns probably can't really.
No.
Lakers desperately need.
The Lakers could buy half of this roster.
The Rockets, I don't think that they should be making any moves, but I'm sure that if the right deal came to them, like Larry kind of fits the timeline and would snuggle into that team pretty well. As like a 3-4 with sharing those duties with Jabari Smith. Maybe Jabari's 4-5.
It would be fun next to Şengün as well. But I think also if you were the Denver Nuggets and the Jazz were like, oh, we'll trade you Jordan Clarkson for Reggie Jackson and a first round pick, I think you'd say yes. As the Nuggets, I think that makes you a better team. Even those teams that don't need players, there's good pieces on this Jazz roster that are up for grabs. Or should be up for grabs anyway.
Yeah, and then Clarkson, you could say, you don't want him to interrupt, the good thing that the Nuggets have going, and or you don't want him to overextend himself or anything. But I'm sure the marginal moves to get better, especially going into a situation in Denver where it seems like Jokic leads pretty well, and he leads this this unselfishness that even Michael Porter Jr. comes out and talks about how unselfish it makes the whole team, and he seems like the most selfish one of them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure. And I'm sure. The Nuggets aren't saying no to that. They're always looking to improve the roster. And then the East, Boston probably don't need to make a move. Milwaukee probably do.
100%.
Philly, I just don't know if there's a trade that they can win. I feel like their roster isn't built to. Yeah, I just
don't have anyone to get rid of, really.
And Maxey, if you're trading him away, you're losing that. Obviously, if you're trading Embiid away, you're losing that trade.
Yeah.
If you're trading Tobias Harris away, I hate to say it, but I think you're losing that trade.
You reckon?
For the role he's playing for them this year. Who can come into that?
Yeah. John Collins?
Oh my god. If only. And then the rest of the team is just no one. There's no value to add. From I guess is D'Anthony Melton? No, D'Anthony Melton. No, is D'Anthony Melton?
Yeah, he's there.
I guess you could trade. He's good though.
He's been very important.
But Cleveland, Miami, Indiana, the Knicks, the Magic.
Yeah.
They all probably want to improve.
Yeah.
And then on the Brooklyn side of things as well, they have every wing that every other team wants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just want fire sale. Just go.
Unless
Dude,
excuse me, it's the cat.
Bless you, Donnie.
Unless one of those teams buys big, unless the Jazz are all right, cool, here's contracts, picks for. All right, okay, here's a fun one. Jazz contracts and picks for Mikal Bridges, or Nets contracted picks for Larry Marketing. Like unless one of those guys moves to the other one, then like they both need to start selling their players. Really. Because you're just trending. You're just going absolutely nowhere at the moment.
Yeah, and it'll make the league so interesting. The Raptors have been so interesting since the Knicks. Since they traded with the Knicks. The Knicks have been so interesting since they traded with the Raptors.
Yeah.
The top of each conference is very interesting, like the Wolves, the Thunder, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Celtics, the Bucks, and the Sixers. They're going to retain their own interest. And then there are so many teams in the middle there that are interesting already and could be even like more of like an intriguing situation if they were to add another piece.
For sure.
I just think that, Mr. Jazz and Mr. Nets... Just like, what are you guys doing by keeping your teams together?
Yeah.
I think that would be my. If I was like if I was doing a speech, like at a boardroom with them all, I think that'd be the thing I finish.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
For sure. And I really love watching this Jazz team play, but like you can just see where the ceiling is.
Yeah. And they're at it.
Yeah, they're fully at it. I guess this kind of links into another one of my ones, which. Wait, did you have any more? Or were you out of it?
I've now fully sprinkled all mine in or set them out, right?
So like you said, the Milwaukee Bucks need to make a trade. I think that trade needs to be like, for a defensive specialist or like a good defender at the very least. This is such a marginal thing, but I saw it somewhere and it really stood out for me. Is because like also they don't have like any assets to trade really. Fucking Chris Dunn has been going absolutely off for the Jazz. Like such a good facilitator, pass first guy, and he's like still like really serviceable defender as well.
He's a good defender.
I think that could be like the perfect trade for the Bucks if they can't make a big swing. Is like someone who isn't campaign to come in when Dame goes to the bench, but also who can guard like the best guard the point guard on the other team, so Dame can do whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah. Chris Dunn's Summer League debut. Since then, I've been a fan of his. 27 points, 3 steals. I said this in the chat, but this was around about the time John Wall was still. This was going into his best season ever, actually.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my god, there's this mold. There's this like perfect cut and paste mold of John Wall in Chris Dunn. I feel like Chris Dunn's like prospects as like a mid-range scorer are higher than John Wall's, and probably every other part of his game end up being worse than John Wall's. But ever since he's like coming to the league, I've been like so hot on him, and there was a 6 year patch where I didn't really have any grounds other than like him coming into the league, like college and pre-NBA stuff.
Yeah.
And then one good summer league game. But I'm so happy to see him playing well, because like he really fits the like the Lon Wright, kind of DeJounte Murray,
but
like
I
think
6'5"
he's
almost
guy.
like a better playmaker than both of them. Maybe not DeJounte Murray, but like
maybe, but like I don't know if DeJounte Murray's playmaking is like out of this world.
Nah, it's kind of like Westbrook style. Where
Yeah,
it's like, he's athletic and he just gets the ball to the guy at a fast speed. Like
he doesn't make the early pass, the hockey assist, if I must.
Dunn had actually it was against. It was in their 16-point win over the Milwaukee Bucks the other day. Milwaukee, hope you were watching. Oh my, they've also won so many of their games by double digits over this run as well.
The Jazz.
Beat Dallas by 37. Beat Toronto by 32. Beat Milwaukee by 16.
How much did they beat the Nuggets by?
13.
There you go.
So against the Bucks, which I noticed the other day, he had 5 points, 13 assists. His 5 points came from his only 2 shot attempts, which were a 3-point attempt and a layup, like with Giannis as the primary defender. And 1 turnover to go along with those 13 assists.
Yeah.
And just like a really good day on Dame. Was Dame playing in that game? Anyway, he was just did everything he had to do perfectly well, and only took 2 shots.
I feel like he's him and Anthony Black are kind of playing this role where it's like, why are they a starter? But it's like they're winning. Maybe to the everyday fan, or maybe even like the more what would you call it? The more hands-on fan. Maybe it's not something that we can see, but like maybe just like the absence. Maybe it's more important to have the absence of mistakes.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
starting
for
lineup
sure,
than the
for sure.
presence of like a potential 20-point
Yeah.
game or whatever.
Look, I still can't speak to Anthony Black.
Yeah.
Still haven't figured that one out. But yeah, I think that's 100% what Chris Dunn is. But yeah, and it makes sense then for him to be like a good backup point guard for a contending team.
Yeah. It looks like though now Anthony Black
I don't
is
think
out
he's
of-
starting anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's out of the rotation, but
He's not. He's not.
But
He's playing.
yeah, he's definitely not starting anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Wow, he had a start that he played 5 minutes, and I don't think he got injured because he played the next game.
That sort of makes sense.
The Anthony Black experiment's over.
The Anthony Black experience. Those were all of mine. Oh, last one. You gotta have a homer pick here, like I think you hinted at before. I just want the New Orleans Pelicans to stay healthy. I don't know. Touch wood. How we haven't had any major injuries in this second part of the season, because like we're the most injured team ever. But we're so healthy at the moment.
Yeah. Zion's playing?
Zion's playing. Zion got the fucking the cheese touch, the right leg contusion the other day.
Oh, the dreaded
and he came back a game later.
Dude, all of your
Oh, yeah.
games are big wins.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, all of your games are big wins or big losses.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Go hard or go home.
This is insane. None of them are close.
Yeah.
You look at the worm, none of them are
No,
close.
no.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, we play in a real particular way.
Boom bust.
The first game against the Mavs, no Zion, no Ingram, they were no Trey, no CJ, and yeah, we were up like, what were we? Oh no, yeah, we were up like 12 at one point in the second quarter or something like that, and we
Yeah.
ended up winning by 10.
Yeah.
They didn't have Luka, but it was just like, yeah, when we were gonna win a game, it looks like we're gonna win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, dual 40-point games for Kyrie Irving, and you guessed it. Did you play them again today?
Yeah, we played them.
Was that today?
Yeah, that was today.
The 40 points.
Yeah. So we beat them.
Today's gone forever. Jesus.
We beat them without our 4 best players
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we lost them today with our 4 best players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, Tim Hardaway Jr. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he just suddenly remembered how to play basketball again or something. Like
It seems
he's
like
been good this season, but like he was just taking ridiculous shots off the dribble and they were going in.
I can't believe that was today, man. That's actually shocking to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was yesterday morning.
Can you believe we've been recording for a whole hour?
I can believe that. I kept my eye on that. So Tim Hardaway got there with 9 made threes.
Yeah.
I think that was the only way that was going to happen.
Yeah. And they all felt like heavily contested, faded away, like pretty annoying.
Yeah, so I feel like every time you talk about the Pelicans, your wish your wishes for them is just to stay healthy. And I just hope we get to live in a world where that's not like front of mind. Or something that needs to be said.
Exactly.
It's just an assumption.
But I think this time, just one more time, please. But in previous times, it's like, okay, Ingram's missed the last 30 games. I wish we were healthy. This is like, we've been healthy for like an eerie amount of time. You know, like how many games have we played? We've played. Okay, did you squirt yourself in the face or something?
A lot of these. Also, Zion's been suspiciously healthy.
Yeah, he's played 32 of 40 games, which that's crazy for you.
And if I might harken back and be self-referential to our way too early hot takes. No, yeah, with Angus Ryan.
Yeah.
32 out of 40 games would indicate 65 out of 82.
Yeah.
Which means he would apply. He would
Yeah.
be eligible.
Yeah,
which means
absolutely.
that Angus and I would be right.
100%.
That's definitely my take. Angus's was either similar or the same.
Ingram's played 36 of 40. None of these guys are even like up there in the All-Star voting this season either, which I kind of like. Like there's just no attention on either of them. They're just both being like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like Zion's having his worst season ever, and I'm like, but it's fine because we're winning games and like, I don't know, he's not forcing his shot like he was earlier in the season. And most importantly, he's healthy. He's staying healthy.
Man, he really just performs.
Yeah.
Like every time he plays, he has a good game. Man, every time he plays, he has a good game.
Yeah. For the first time in his NBA career, like the first 10 games this season, he was actually playing bad. Like he was just taking really bad shots, which now I feel like he's found his groove again. But yeah, you're so right. When he's playing, he's a really good basketball player.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how these ones go, huh?
Yeah. Do we want to talk about JVG Jackson?
Oh, JVG Jackson the second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So JVG Jackson actually faced off against. Actually, we talked about Trae Young talking about the Spurs or Wemby earlier today. So TNT had like the nightmare doubleheader, which was Spurs Hawks and then Grizzlies Warriors. And it's just that it has to be the worst night of the year for them.
And the Hawks are like double the Spurs score at halftime.
Wemby didn't score in the first half.
Yeah, and then only won by 10 points at the end. So I can't imagine how that looked.
And then fucking what do you even need to say about Grizzlies Warriors other than Grizzlies Warriors?
Coughing baby versus coughing baby.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I'll explain it to you later. No, I'll explain it to you now. It's coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. It's like who would win, a coughing baby or a hydrogen bomb? But
is it a photo?
Yeah, like search coughing baby versus hydrogen bomb. It's just a photo.
Oh, okay. And it's coughing baby versus coughing baby.
Yeah, which it doesn't come up when you Google it. I've been looking for it for so long.
What if I do it?
I'd be so mad. I'd actually be really angry. Is there one where they're both babies?
Coughing baby versus coughing baby Reddit.
I did that. I saw it on Twitter once. One time and I didn't save it.
Coughing baby mean both.
You're acting like I didn't optimize my search engine like this.
Okay, you go.
But we were talking about the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Golden State Warriors today.
Oh yes, and JVG Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
So he was being interviewed by Inside the NBA. If you haven't seen it, you have to go. Post-game interview. He had 23 points today.
Career high.
Career high.
In his 8th NBA game.
In his 8th game. Would you believe it? Actually, pretty high odds that happens. And he got asked a question by Shaquille O'Neal and just had the most adorable response to it. Like a physical, complete facial expression change. Like, holy shit, I'm talking to Shaquille O'Neal right now. And it was just heartwarming, and I feel like you just don't see it. You don't see stuff like that ever. Like, he's not worried about being tough or whatever bullshit you want to say. And he was just like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm being interviewed by Shaq.
And he gave such a good interview. He actually was thoughtful and considered in his responses. He's talking about how important being in the G League was, which feels like something the NBA has to pay you to do. It was one of the ones as well where, I mean, what Ernie said, he was like, that's one of the best interviews we've ever done on the show. Which is, is that saying a lot? Post game interviews, those ones immediately afterwards, are usually pretty bad. But if he just engaged with every question really, really well. Seemed absolutely gleeful to not just be talking to them, but to be in the NBA. He's the youngest player in the league this year. I think he turned 19 a few days ago.
Yeah, just recently turned 19.
And then shout out Inside the NBA, another win for them. There's Ernie, Shaq, Chuck, all handled him great, and Candace as well, of course.
I think also Ernie's been there for 35 years or however long it's been, and he's just, I've never heard him say that.
He's
never said that before.
I've been watching for 35 years. I never heard him say that.
Oh, me and my grandpa used to watch him 35 years straight. I've just never seen him say that in any of the clips I've seen. And also with the viral nature of the current day, if there was to be a post-game interview that happened, you would have known about it and seen it, and we have with Jaren Jackson Jr. reacting to DeMarcus Cousins signing with the Warriors stuff like that. You see it, and in none of those does the fucking guy that's been in the industry for 40 years say, wow, best interview I've ever seen. And Ernie doesn't break character. He keeps pretty he keeps professional through everything. So he had a real moment as well. So nice. Fucking JVG Jackson, you can come on our pod anytime.
Real heartwarming moment as well from a franchise that's been anything but this season. For a little while now. I have a gun. Thanks, Sean. Alright, well, should we wrap it up there?
Yeah, let's put it there. Shakes hand.
Alright, well, I'll see you when I'm looking at you, Lucas.
Yeah, see ya.